Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are here with the first introduction and the first video of the year. I first of all hope you had a happy New Year's. We are on the 1st of January. I can't believe it is 2024. That is absolutely crazy. But as always on the 1st of the month, I am here with my Panda palette introduction. Yesterday I had my finale for my last year Panda palette. So you can see how I did with that one then. But this year, I'm going to start a completely new palette. I'm going to start fresh. Last year, when I did my Panda palette introduction, I rolled over my previous palette. But this year, I decided to start fresh. If I want to continue working on things from the other palette, I might roll them into other projects. But in this project, I'm just going to work on one palette and one palette only. And that is going to be what I roll in today. So before I roll in the palette that I decided to go with, I'm going to talk you through statistics of the voting that I did with my Panda palette. I posted a video, I think in November, where I asked you guys to help me decide my Panda palette. So I'm going to talk you through what the vote ended up being like for that. And I'm obviously going to show you my choice for Panda palette. But before I jump into any of that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So I have 4 palettes right here that I'm going to talk about, and these 4 plus one more option were my kind of 5 options for the video that I showed you last year. The 5th option was like a singles palette with just kind of single eyeshadows that I would put together to make a BYOP and then Panda throughout the year. Spoiler alert, that one didn't win, so that's why I didn't actually make a palette to show you. So that's kind of why I only have these 4 palette to talk about. But first of all, I'm going to start off with the voting, like I said, and talk you through which one won there. And we're going to start with the one that got the least votes. So overall, in that voting, there was a 508 votes in the poll, which is really amazing. Thank you all for voting. There are also people who commented on the video, but the votes there was very, very spread out. So I mainly went off the poll because I feel like that's easier to count. And if there was one palette that won overall in the comments, I would have taken that into consideration too. But overall, I feel like that was quite consistent with the polls. So again, from the 508 votes, the one that came into last place was my Amrezy palette from Anastasia. This one only got 9% of the votes. This was the palette looks like on the inside. I think from what the comment was, I feel like people didn't really want to see this one. I mean, again, people didn't really vote for this one that much, so I don't really know 100% why they didn't want this one, but I feel like they said it was like too many like colors, also like a few deep shades. And for some people, the kind of colors, the pop colors and the variety in this palette was something that was the reason why they voted for this one. But overall, this was just not one of the ones that won, which honestly I'm quite happy with because I wouldn't really have preferred Panda in this palette. There's definitely other things in the list that I would have preferred myself, including the 3 right here. I think this was probably my personal least one as well that I wanted to pan. So, that's fine. I really do love this palette and I'm really happy to still have this in my collection. That's another reason why I don't really feel ready to pan this one. So I'm going to hold on to this one for now, and it's not going to be my Panda palette for 2024. In second to last spot, we had with 12% my indie eyeshadow, or like my single eyeshadow BYOP. So again, that came in at 12%, so not too many votes, and I feel like that is because a lot of people don't really enjoy watching like singles being panned the same as like a full palette, which I completely understand. I quite enjoy it myself, but I do love single eyeshadows. So I feel like that wouldn't have been the smartest thing to do. So I'm kind of okay with that choice not being made. I feel like I wanted to include it as an option because I, again, personally love single eyeshadows. But I was well aware that if people didn't vote for it, I wasn't going to do it because I want to do something that you guys enjoy watching. So it was a little bit of a trial for me to include it into the list of possible palettes. So, I'm happy that it didn't end up last, but I also completely understand that this is not something that I think will be feasible for me as a Panda palette, especially not this year. So again, that is not what was chosen. So for the final 3 options, we have the 3 palettes right here. And all of them got really, really high votes. They all were over 20%. And at the bottom of those 3, with 22% of the votes, we have my Going Coconuts palette. This one, it got a decent amount of points. It got 10% more than the 4th place option. So quite a lot, again, more than the other ones. So it was quite clear early on which 3 was going to be the top picks. So yeah, this is the palette right here. It would like be a really, really stunning palette to pan. I included this one because it's a beautiful neutral palette. And I feel like it's something that I could use every single day, pair with other things, multitask, things like that. So that was the one that came in 3rd place. I'm not going to let you know which one out of the top 3 I'm going to pan now. But yeah, this is the first option. And then in 2nd place, out of the 2 Anastasia palettes, we have them right here. So the one that came into 2nd place is my Soft Glam palette. And this one had 26% of the votes. So again, quite a big jump up from the last one. I mean, not that big up, but a really, really high percentage of the votes. So 26% voted for the Soft Glam palette. This is another kind of neutral palette. Looks like this on the inside. It has a little bit more variety than the Glowing Coconuts palette. But it also has more shades. You have some more rosy tones, some more kind of orangey tones, some darker tones, some lighter tones, a good mix of shimmers and mattes. So a really, really good all-around palette. It's a cult favorite for a reason, and it's a beautiful palette, but that came into 2nd place. And as you can see, in the 1st place, with a whopping 31% of the votes, we had the Novena palette, again from Anastasia. This is a really beautiful palette. It's actually my favorite Anastasia palette. Looks like this. It's very, very like romantic tones. Again, the top row is all shimmers, the bottom row is all mattes. So it has a good mix of both, and it does have a lot of kind of variety when it comes to the shades as well. Some are deeper, some are lighter, but overall this one is more of a mid-tone kind of palette. But the shimmers in here are absolutely stunning. This palette also has a lot of use on it already. I mean, so does the other 2 in the top 3 as well, but this one has the most pans, I believe. So this is definitely one that I really, really enjoy. And honestly, I would enjoy any of these 3 to pan. So those are the top 3. Let me know before I show you now which one you think I decided to go with. Did I decide to go with the top voted palette, or did I go rogue and pick something else, or what do you think I decided to do? So let me know down below. But the palette that I actually decided to end up panning is the Soft Glam palette. So I did not go with the top voted palette, but that is, you know, I was really, really, really debating between these 2. And the ultimate reason why I decided to go with this one, not this one, is because I don't feel 100% ready to pan Novena palette yet, because I do really love it and I still want to have it in my collection. So that was one of the reasons. The second one is that the Soft Glam palette just has more of a everyday color story. And because I have such big plans with my eyeshadow projects in 2024, I'm doing a really, really big eyeshadow project this year. I wanted something that I could incorporate with other looks. I could easily multitask. I could just like, it was more like versatile, and like it would go with a lot of different things. And that is why I decided to go with this one rather than Novena palette, which is mostly kind of rosy, romantic leaning. So yeah, this is going to be my palette. This right here is my starting point. So at the moment I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pans. I have pans in this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and this one. So not half the palette, there's 14 shades in here. So, you know, quite a lot still, but there's also a lot of product in here. I am hopeful that I can finish this one in a year. I did pan the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette, not in 2023, but in 2022. And I finished majority of the palette, but not completely all of it. However, that was way more mattes than shimmers, and I can go for shimmers quicker, especially the Anastasia formula. So I'm hopeful that I can go for this palette. But we're going to see how it goes. My goal is to finish the whole palette. So it's going to be exciting to follow this throughout the year. Let me check quickly how much is advertised as the weight in here. So I have weighed my palette, and it currently weighs 162.70 grams. So that is my starting point. And I calculated, and the average weight in the palette is 10.36 grams. So that is what I advertised. And obviously I already have a little bit of use on this one. I have pans on a couple shades. So it's going to be interesting how much is in here when I continue using it and how much do I actually use up. But I'm going to weigh this every month and update you on how much I use up and like the percentage of the advertised weight, stuff like that. So yeah, that is the starting point for this palette. Again, let me know if you're surprised with my pick. Is this what you expected me to pick? Yeah, let me know all of that below. But that's going to be it for this introduction. I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. And also again, Happy New Year. I hope you had an amazing night last night if you celebrated. I mean, you might watch this later on, but if you did go out on New Year's Eve, I hope you had an amazing time. Even if you stayed at home, hope you had an amazing night. And otherwise, I will catch you in my next video, which is actually going to be tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Bye, guys.